Okay, you guys, I'm Trisha with Easy E-mini Trade, and I'm doing this webinar for Maria with Trade Order Flow. I use the tools, I love the tools, and I want everybody to know about them. And obviously, you'll make your own decisions based on what you're looking for in your trading. This is being recorded, so you will have the recording available tomorrow by lunchtime, let's say. Maria is here, so if you have any questions, you can type them in and she'll answer via the keyboard. And also at the end, I'll unmute her mic and she can answer any questions that you guys might have. She's definitely the expert on this. I'm showing you, how I learned to trade it using order flow and the value areas. So hopefully you find it helpful. And it's like every day you learn something different, or you can try something different. There's so many different options. So hopefully you read the disclosure. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Bottom line, that's what I always like to say. All right, so we're going to go over trading using order flow and value areas. So the chart screens that I'm using, not the chart screens, but the presentation screens and slides will be familiar to anybody who's attended one of the order flow webinars. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on screenshots, hardly any at all. What I'm going to try to do, and hopefully while I'm recording GoToWebinar, everything will cooperate, but I'm going to put Ninja in replay mode so you can actually see how the orders are coming in and put that in conjunction with the value areas. So hopefully that'll be helpful. It's really easy to see, obviously, anything on a static chart after the fact. So hopefully this will help everybody who's using the tools, everybody who has different tools, or anybody who wants the tools. Okay, so here we go. So a market profile is a vertical graphic that displays price and time, and this allows you to see at a glance the price levels that have the most concentrated volume. And why that's important is that those areas are going to be the areas of support and resistance, the areas where price is likely going to get stuck. So in the tools that we use, we can use the market profile based on a VWAP chart, a time price, excuse me, sneezing, sorry you guys, a TPO, or a volume. So we have lots of options, and I like the VWAP. That's my favorite, and you'll see that in just a second. Peter Stadelmeyer was one of the market profile developers, and it was released in the 1985 to the public. And you can read his book. It's a hard read. I've said that before, and I mean no disrespect, but it's a hard read. If you go to the CME group, you can do a search for market profile, and they'll have like a little presentation there that you might find helpful. I liked Mind Over Markets, that book by James Dalton, a little bit better. I found it a little easier to understand for myself, just being a layperson, when it comes to the market profile when I was learning it. So this is generally what you see when you're looking at a market profile. Now this is a screenshot, so I can't spread it out, but if I were to spread this out, these would be letters, and the letters are put in at the price level based on the time. So here, for example, this is the whole week right here without today. This is yesterday, this is the day before, and this is Friday. So when you look at this for the week, you can see where you've got the higher concentration of volume here. You can see this big volume node here. It pretty much covers from, let's say, like 34 down to 30. And then you can see this one here down at probably like 23 and up here. So what that's telling us is when we trade in those areas, we're likely going to have trouble getting through. What we like to see are little pockets of light volume, so like going from a high volume area down to the next high volume area. And I'll show you that on a different chart, But this is basically what everybody thinks of when they think of market profile. I don't use this. I find it, it just doesn't work for me. Let's just put it that way. It's just my preference. And you know, there are all kinds of information in any of the market profile books you read based on the shape that it's taking. And I'm not going to go into that. If you want more info, definitely do some research on market profile on any of the books or on the internet or whatever you like. So we have in the market profile the value area, and that's where 70% of the trades took place. And this area is determined to be the fair value area, where traders think that this is the area where the price is a fair price based on market profile books that you'll read. And so basically when price is above the fair value area, it's considered to be expensive. It's above value, and prices below the fair value area are considered to be below value. So any of the market profile books that you read, you're likely going to find that they're going to have you shorting at the top of the profile back into the fair value area and buying at the bottom back into fair value area. And those can work. I'm definitely a fan of those with certain criteria, but a lot of times you'll get breakdowns in those areas. And right in the middle of the fair value area, you're going to have the point of control. And what you're going to find is that when price trades to the high value areas or low value areas, that they're going to try to make their way back to that point of control. It runs smack dab right in the middle of the fair value area. And obviously it's always developing based on price action as it occurs. And so this is the chart that we look at. And this is a VWAP chart. That's my choice. I'm using a volume weighted average price. And like I said, we have different options. And the area in yellow is the fair value. This is the NQ this morning. So the yellow is the fair value, and this first line up here that you see when you're coming into the blue, that's the high value area, and then we have a second high value area. Then the point of control is the purple line. Now I have a 90 EMA on here and 100 EMA, and you know, I like to have them on there. I like them on all of my charts because they often hold a support and resistance. Not so much when price is sideways, but when we have a strong trend, I can take pullbacks off of there, and that's just my own personal preference. But the purple line here is the point of control, and like I said, that runs smack dab right in the middle of that yellow area, the fair value area. On this chart, I've got the low value area here coming out of the yellow, and then here is the next low value area. In blue here, I've got the high value area from yesterday. So when I said that this is the first high value area for today, right here where it's yellow, the red here for me is yesterday's first high value area, and then this is yesterday's second. So that would be the equivalent of this line here and this line here for yesterday. This green dotted line is the point of control for yesterday, and the reason we have those on our charts is they will often hold up, okay, because a lot of time has been spent usually in those areas the previous day, so price can often have a difficult time getting through those. And on this chart, and later I'll show you the different options that are available that other people use that I don't use. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to take a buy when it breaks out of the high value area here. We can take a buy when it breaks above yesterday's high value area. We can take a buy if it breaks above the developing area here. We can short when it comes back into fair value area. We can buy above yesterday's level here. We can short below yesterday's level here. We can do the same on the point of control. The point of control is a little bit more difficult to take trades off of because often price will get stuck there. So if you're already in a trade and you're trading around that, then no big deal. But it's a difficult area to jump in a trade very often. And so we can short coming out of the fair value area here. We can short the point of control from yesterday, and we can take retracements back to the fair value area. Now, when we have a strong trend, what you're going to find is that price is going to very often get outside the fair value area, and then it'll trade back as a pullback, and then back as a pullback. The same can be true for coming outside the low value area here in a strong trending market. And I'll try to get an example of that for you. So we could take pullbacks in a strong trend, as pullbacks to those areas. This over here is cumulative volume. And Maria, you're going to answer the questions that are being typed in, okay? So this is cumulative volume, and this won't be just today. This will be anytime we've been in this area based on the settings that you have on your chart. The colored volume over here is today based on the amount of time that's gone by. So this obviously will increase. This will increase as the day progresses. And so the reason we care is in these volume node areas here, like you can see it coming out here and here and here. So a lot of times we'll get these little gaps in those. So like here, for example, you can see you have a little gap down to this next high volume area. So realistically, if you break the one area, it'll likely be sucked down to the next high volume area or back up to the next high volume area if price is moving higher. Now, for me, I love divergence, and I know Maria gets sick of hearing it, but that's the only way that I will buy the bottom of the profile or sell the top of the profile is if I have divergence. Now, we've got all these different areas that we can take trades, and you're wondering, well, how the heck am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to do there? That's where the order flow comes in play. So here where we're breaking the high value area, we want to see buyers coming in order to buy that. Here we want to see sellers coming in if we're going to short that. Same here, we want to see sellers coming in. Here on the retracement, how do you know not to buy that? How do you know to short it? Again, who's coming in? Are the buyers coming in? You can buy it. Or the sellers coming in? You can short it. So that's where the order flow comes in play. And you can use the order flow in conjunction with this VWAP chart with whatever setups you're currently trading. That's what I do. I'm not as aggressive as Maria. Maria is very aggressive, and that suits her style and her personality. It doesn't suit mine. So this is my interpretation of what is working for me. Now, she's the one who trained me on, how to take those areas, but admittedly, it's hard sometimes to pull the trigger because, a lot of times you'll see on the bar that's forming on the order flow that you've got buyers come in and then all of a sudden it changes to sellers. So, it can be a little confusing. And I'm going to show you something that's really helped me with, make that a difference in, pulling the trigger in those areas. And ideally, if I'm getting one of my own setups in those areas, double confirmation, and I'm okay with that. So this is what the order flow looks like, and this is how I'm displaying it. We have a lot of different options on how to display it, and David says he likes her already. She's aggressive. This is how I'm displaying it. Now, what I've got here is I've got the bid and the ask, buyers on the right, sellers on the left. And I'm choosing the option to look at these bars based on a bid-ask histogram because to me, this just pops. I don't have to sit here and look at every level because you can't. Price moves too fast and you can't see the orders as they're coming in. You just can't. price can move pretty quickly, especially first thing in the morning. So this at a glance, it's like, okay, the histogram's getting big, like for example here, big and green. So you know that you've got a lot of buyers there at that price level. Here, big and red, lots of sellers. Simple. That's easy. That's easy to see. Green, buyers, red, sellers, right? Smaller histogram here, less buyers and sellers. Bigger histogram, more buyers and sellers. Down here, this is how I'm choosing to look at this area down here. I've got the delta, I've got the volume on each bar. This is a 5-minute chart, by the way, and use the 5-minute. I've tried a lot of different types of charts. I've tried tick charts, I've tried smaller time-based charts, I've tried bigger time-based charts, and this seems to be what works for me. And there's no one road home, right? So the saying goes, so you can tweak it any way that you like. But I like to just glance down here and not have to look through a bunch of these rows to get to my delta. So I make that the first thing that I look at. But you have the option of putting bid totals there, ask totals. So lots of options there. And this is the cumulative volume. So this is the volume, up to that time on this bar here. And so obviously this is going to increase. So the delta, if you're not familiar, is the difference between the buy orders and sell orders. So let's say that you have 100 buy orders, let's say, and 50 sell orders. You're going to have a positive delta of 50. So when it's a positive number, you've got more buyers, and when it's a negative number, you've got more sellers. Now, the problem with that is, as I see it, is you take a glance at that and you've got a positive delta, but you're not really paying attention. Is that delta getting smaller or getting larger? So yeah, you've got positive delta, but if it's getting smaller, isn't that telling you that you've got sellers coming in? So for me, it takes more than just looking at the delta, whether it's positive or negative, because it can change so quickly. And if you're familiar with the delta, you know that. So that's where this comes in handy. And I'll show you a little bit more on that while we're going through chart replay. All right, so what I'm going to do, and pray that it works, is I'm going to just pause my screen for just a second, and I'm going to bring up my Ninja. So I got my screen paused, and I say I'm going to pray because I don't know that this is going to work. I've had issue in the past when, okay, I'm just going to show my screen again. I've had issue in the past while trying to run chart replay and recording. So what I did was this is the NQ for today, and I've got it starting at 9:30. So I'm going to hit play here in just a second, but I just wanted to go over a couple things here before I do. So on the order flow chart here, unfortunately, because doing the chart replay, it's not giving me all of the volume over here. Normally, this would be loaded with all of the volume for pre-market, for the whole day, leading up till 9:30. So unfortunately, with the chart replay, it's not going to do that. But you did see that here on this slide here. So that's what we're missing on the order flow that I just showed you, okay? All right. So on this here, I'm, like I said, choosing the option for bid-ask histogram, but I can view this as bid times ask, and it'll still be graduated coloring based on the amount of buyers or sellers coming in. And this is always read on a diagonal, okay? It's always read on a diagonal, just like your dome. And I can view it as a bid-ask ladder if I want. delta, I can just show the delta, graduated volume. So for me, like I said, this works because I can see this so easily for myself. I have the ability to show aggressive buyers and sellers coming in. This will also plot the the Fibonacci areas. Also, it can plot a market profile over here as well, but I don't use any of those. I do use the pivot highs and lows, and basically what that is swing highs and swing lows. That's what these red arrows and these blue arrows are. And then over here, I already went over all of this, so let me just hit play and we'll see how this goes. Okay, Lord, please make it work. So let this start going here. And you can see I've got the, oh good, it's working. I've got the cumulative volume outline here. Now a lot of people will have it scrolled over so they can see it. I prefer not to do that. So again, you're seeing one person's way of using this. So this is like right at 9:30. I'm not interested in doing anything right at 9:30. I usually like price to start to move, pick a direction, because the NQ can be a little bit schizo off the open. So I prefer, like I said, to let it pick a direction. So what I can look for, I could sit here and what I would be waiting for is time to pass a little bit. But I could look for a short under this value area from yesterday. I can look for a buy above this area here. But like I said, for me, just a little too early. And over here you can see the orders as they're coming in. Excuse me, these are filled orders. And this over here is an action bar. This is more aggressive orders coming in. And so what I'll tend to do is, this is the bar that's forming right here. And this is the bar that's forming. They're both forming at the same time. And then what they'll do is these orders will then be moved over here. But you can see here we've got a high concentration on this bar as it's forming of sellers right here. We've got a lot of buyers right there. And so the first 5 minutes can go either way as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not saying I don't take any trades before 9:35, but like I said, I prefer it to just kind of mellow out a little bit, and then I can look for an entry. So if you were looking to take, like we're right here in the middle of nowhere basically, because it can go either way from here. So there's nothing that I'm really willing to do here. So if I get a break of this low value area here from yesterday, and I've got sellers stepping in, then I can go ahead and try and take that. Now, I don't use Ninja for my trading platform. I just use the charts. Otherwise, I would say I would put this in Sim, but I'm pretty useless when it comes to using Ninja's Sim because I don't use a chart trader. I use a DOM. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. So it's around 9:30. What is it? 9:33. You can see the orders coming in here. You can see that we've got a high concentration of sellers here. We've got some buyers coming in. We've got a bright red negative delta here. So here we're breaking this low value area here, but I'm not convinced yet that it's going to go break through that. So I'm going to wait to see if maybe I get a retest up there. Because you can see here, we had all these sellers up here, but down here, they're not really stepping up. They're trying, but we got pretty much buyers coming in here. So if I was going to take this as a break of this value area, I want to see lots of red down here. So if you're coming down to support, let's say, and you get something like this where you don't have a lot of sellers coming in there. So let's say you get a wad of sellers and then nothing below that, then that would be a good place to try to buy above. So I'm not looking to take the bounce here yet because this is coming up into this area here where we had a whole lot of sellers here last time. So I'm going to assume that they're going to hold. So I'm willing to try this. I would try this as a short under this area here. You can see we've got the sellers coming in. And then in knowing that I've got the point of control here, I would be looking to see, okay, am I going to get through that, or are we going to get a bunch of buyers stepping up? So now we can see the buyers stepping up. So I'm still not too concerned about it because I've got this big number of sellers right here in this level at 45.75. So when I would be a little bit more concerned is if I see a big bunch of green coming in up here. So we're at the point of control, so this is an area where we would expect to have a little bit of a difficulty getting through. You can see on our volume here, we're stuck right at this area here where we had this volume node sticking out here. So we're kind of expecting to run into a little bit of trouble here. So just kind of being patient, seeing what's going to happen here, and I can trail my stop. What I could do is I can trail my stop to just above where I had the sellers step in and we had no buyers. So I can put my stop in that area if I like. You can use an average true range if you like. I like the super trend stop to trail my stop. So this is nice because we see some sellers coming in here. And now we got more. And you'll see here where we had this little opening in volume, we just got sucked down to that next high volume area. So now we have to see what's going to happen. Are we going to get buyers or are we going to get sellers? And then obviously you just have to manage it. Now, what you'll notice when we don't have a really strong direction is that price will cycle. It'll go from the top of the value area down to the bottom and then back up to the top and then down to the bottom. So it can cycle a few times a day and you can ride it from one side to the other. So here we've got this area, you're trying to break the low value area here. And so obviously you'd still be in, but let's say that you were going to take this, and I'm just going to pause this just for a second so I can talk for a second. So let's say that you were going to take this as a short. Now what would concern me on this, now obviously like I said, we're in from up here so we don't have to worry, we could trail it. We know here we've got yesterday's point of control. So I'm expecting that that's probably going to hold. So if I wasn't in from up here, now I have other ways I can get in. I can do breakdowns, I can do all kinds of things, but today we're just talking about market profile, VWAP, and the order flow. So I probably would not be inclined to try to jump in here under this fair value area unless I determined that I had enough space here to the point of control from yesterday. So I hope that makes sense. So if I determine there's enough space, then great, I can take it. Otherwise, then I would probably pass and wait to get below the point of control here from the previous day. All right, let me hit play again. So what I'm looking here is I could buy this if I get some buyers stepping up. So I've got some buyers coming in. So you can see that we're not moving lower. We've got buyers coming in. So I'm willing to try that as a buy back into the fair value area, expecting maybe that it'll find its way to the opposite side again. Now what I would look for is I would look at right here where I've got this 44.42, where I've got this big red area here where we had a lot of sellers coming in. And so I would look at that and think, okay, well, I might get stuck there. So that would be the area where I would be looking to see if I could get through. So if I bought down here at like 38 or 38 and a quarter, somewhere in that, I'm looking at the possibility of having some trouble up here at 42. So what I want to see is I want to see it get through 42 and I want to see the buyers come in. And then what I would be looking for is I'd be looking for it to trade back up to the point of control here, and then yesterday's high value area, and then today's high value area here, and then yesterday's high value area, and etc. But the key is got to get through this 42. And then you'll see here, if we do get through 42, we've got this next area here where we had a bunch of sellers. So now we're coming up to our moment of truth here. Here at the point of control, this is the same point of control here in blue that you see as you do here in purple. So now what I want to see is I want to see that we get more buyers coming through this point of control. Now obviously, if you're in from 38, you at least got 5 points out of it. So you have to decide how you're going to manage it. How are you going to trade it? You can use your trailing stop. You can use just under one of these volume areas from under this area here. So you can see the orders coming in here. So here is our moment of truth. We're looking for this to get through this area right here. And if we can, you'll notice on this 5-minute bar here, we don't have a whole lot of either here. None of them are really standing out, buyers or sellers here. But when you look at the bar next to it, this area here, you can see that we've got a lot of sellers. So chances are, if we can get through this area right where we're at, that we can be pulled back up to this area here, just under those sellers. And if we can get through this big cluster of sellers from last time in that area, then we'll likely be able to be pulled up to the high value area again. My initial stop, and I'm really conservative, David, is I'd like a 3-point stop. I know Maria, I think, starts with a 5. And so if you didn't get in down here, then you can get in on the break of this high value area from yesterday. And the only concern with getting in above this high value area from yesterday is that you might get stuck up here, right at the edge of this yellow area. So you could take it there, or if we can get above this high value area, let's say you didn't get in down here and you didn't get in here, if we get a break of this high value area here, then we can go ahead and buy as long as we got the buyers coming in. Now, what I wanted to tell you about, now you can see we've got some big green here. We got a positive delta. It's getting bigger. So what you want to see, though, is now you want to see the buyers coming in, not the sellers. And so as soon as it hits yesterday's HVA, it's pulling back here. So now we got to see if it can get through. So we want to see buyers, 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 buyers. And what you could do is you can put your stop, like if you're trailing it, you can put your stop just under this high value area here. So we're looking for buyers. They're still coming in. Now, how do you know when it's going to change direction? I know, Scott, one of the questions that you were asking, I'm just going to pause this for a second. One of the questions that you were asking via the keyboard before we started, is how do you know you're not just getting sucked in with institutional buying or selling? So what I'll look for is if you're at support, let's see if I can find a spot here. But let's see if we got a spot up at resistance. All right, so here's a good example. So here, right at the point of control, and this is right at 9:30, so just before 9:30, I think, but it's a decent example, but you'd look for this no matter what. So you're coming up to that point of control, at the high value area. That's what this line is right here and up here. So let's say up here, this is the edge of the profile at that point, and let's say you want to you're thinking, okay, I'm going to take a buy above that. Here's what would worry me about that. Is I've got all these buyers here, but then they're not stepping up here. So if you're at resistance and you don't see the follow through above a high volume area of buyers, then chances are it's going to pull back. So what you could do, and I would say practice this if you're just going to do this on order flow, but if you get a big section of buyers and then they don't step up, like I said up here, then you could put a short in just under the area where you had all these buyers step up. So just FYI, and like I said, I would say practice with it because it takes a little practice getting used to seeing what's going on here. Now, if you have a bar where you've got the whole thing looks like a Christmas tree, you know, red and green, red and green, red and green, with no real little volume, light volume areas, then there's nothing for you to really do on that bar. It's the ones where you've got the little openings, the little gaps. It's just like trading those volume nodes over here, expecting to get from one high volume area to the next. It's the same on these 5-minute bars. And I never got to finish telling you why I like the 5-minute. I told you I tried a bunch of different bars, and the reason I like the 5-minute is basically that's our bias. So we're basing our bias, taking entries off an 8 range or 4 range, whatever anybody's trading off of. But we're taking our entries off of those charts based on our 5-minute bias. So it's like using an anchor chart. What's the bias on that 5-minute chart? And by looking at the delta, that can pretty much give you the bias on the bar as it's forming. But obviously, like I was saying, if the delta is positive, you're looking likely for a buy somewhere, but you want to make sure that's getting bigger in size, not smaller in size. Just like if you're looking for a short, you want to see a negative delta, but you want to see the negative getting bigger, not smaller. So now I'm going to hit play again. All right, so we're at the top of the profile here. Now right here, we don't know, is this going to hold or is this going to break out? We don't know yet. So I'm not jumping in as a buy above here, and I'm not jumping in as a short here. I'll short the top of the profile, but this is what I want to see. So yeah, it pops through, but look at no buyers stepping up here. We got the sellers coming in. They're sellers. We got positive delta. We got positive delta here, but still nobody's stepping up above here. You see our sellers? Now I would drool for this setup right here, and I'm going to pause this just so I can draw a line. I would take this as a short because I've got divergence to the downside and I don't have buyers stepping up here. Now obviously these bars are still forming, so anything's possible, but with that divergence I've got higher highs on price, lower highs on the stochastic, so I'm thinking I'm going to short that just under that area. Now here's the moment of truth. Is it going to bounce here or is it going to continue? So what do we want to see? We want to see sellers come in if it's going to break this, or we want to see buyers come in if we're going to try the bounce. And if you're not sure, then you can wait to see if you get a retest. So I don't mind waiting to see if this fails, like if it attempts to break down and fails and then bounces, or if it bounces and then rolls over. So I've got no problem, you know, being patient, but I would have shorted at the top up here under this bar here that gave me the divergence. And the good thing about that is my stop would be pretty small. I would only have to go above this area here for my stop. So we're not seeing really what to do here yet. So I'm not making a decision. I've got buyers over here. So I'm not willing to short it, but I'm not really ready to buy it either. So if it wants to retest, I'll wait to see. So if it wants to move lower, then I'll have to find another way in. And you can just be aggressive and short as soon as you see it, use a pretty tight stop, and it either works or it doesn't. So you can see here it moved lower, but we didn't get, and this bar is still forming, but we're not getting the sellers piling in down here yet. Over here, you can see on this previous 5-minute bar, we've got a whole lot of volume going on in this area, so I'm expecting that we're probably going to get stuck in that 49 spot. Also, if I scroll over here, you could see this high volume area. So where are we getting stuck? Right at that high volume area. So now I have to decide, do I want to try to buy this or am I going to try to short it? I still don't know. So I want a definite side. Either I want the buyers coming in or I want the sellers coming in. And I'm not convinced that it's going to go here. So if it does go, then I can buy and can short under here. So I'm not too worried about it. I've got options. And if you did decide to short up here at like that 52 area, it's worked out for you. You've got a maybe 4 or 5 point, probably 5 points out of it. So now, if you wanted to be aggressive and you saw buyers come in, you could buy here. But what I'm waiting to do is I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Are we going to bounce here back up to this area, and then I can decide if I want to short it or not. So here, not too convinced about buying it here either because we don't get a whole lot of buyers coming in there. You can see we get this area here of buyers, but they don't step in above that. Like we don't get a big wad. Here we're getting more sellers again. So I'm just being patient, just going to see what happens. So looking to see what happens up at that high value area there. Now, a lot of people, I know Maria doesn't like to do a whole lot in the fair value area, but like I said earlier, I don't have any problem with that. So in looking at this here, I see I've in an area of sellers. Now we get a new bar start. So now what do I want to do? Looking to see, we're going to get some buyers or am I going to try to short this? So what I can do is I can do either. So I don't have the buyer stepping up. So I can put a sell order right in there just under that edge of that fair value area. Or I can go under here where I've got this last area of buyers coming in. So I can even place that, under here at like 50, 51. Now this is obviously still forming, so anything can happen, but this is where we got the buyers, so I can short just under that as long as I've got sellers coming in will be okay. So right now we're still in the buyer area, so it would have triggered, and now we just have to see, is it going to go? Am I going to get the seller stepping up? And so now I'm going to look to the left again. We got this big area over here, so what's going to happen? Are we going to get through it? If we can get through it, we've got some, I'm going to just pause this for a second. We've got some unfinished business right here. Let me just pause that real quick. Pause. And you can see that here on this 5-minute bar where we've got this red dot. And you can see here how it hasn't zeroed itself out. If you look at all the other bars, generally what you're going to see, because this is on a diagonal, remember, we're looking at this on a diagonal. And what I mean by on a diagonal is, hopefully you can see this, it's big enough to see, but you can see here we've got 2 to 6, 26 to 5, 13 to 9, 3 to 4, etc. So here at the top, you can see we zero out on the left and we'll have a number on the right. At the bottom, we'll zero out on the right and we'll have a number on the left. When you see this dot right here, it didn't zero itself out. So there are still some orders down here that need to be taken care of. So with that being unfinished business, I'm just going to mark that so you can see the bar here. Oops, wrong line. Using my shortcuts, I can't remember what they are. Right here on this bar right here. So what we would be expecting is that at some point, usually fairly quickly, unless you have a really strong trend, price is going to come back down and finish its business. So let's see what happens. I have no idea. Okay. So here we had a lot of buyers last time, so price needs to get through that, and then what would happen is it will find its way to the point of control. Finished its business, we're at the point of control. And I generally won't do much on the break of the point of control, but like I said, you could have taken the break of this value area from yesterday, but you would have to know that you've got the point of control right below you that you might have some difficulty on. So we're looking over here, we still have negative delta, and we have on the aggressive orders still negative delta. They're both pretty small, so it could go either way. Here, as we're coming down to that point of control, you can see that we've got you know, a lot of sellers here in this 46.75 area, but we want to see them stepping up here, which they are. So you can see them stepping up here. So chances are good that this is probably going to break through this area. I don't know by how much, obviously, but what I would do is then I would be looking at my next 5-minute bar and seeing where I've got the concentration of volume at the different price levels. All right, so I'm just going to let this play out, and I'll see if you guys have any questions. Let's see. All right, so Maria is answering those. Okay, great. Let's see. So David says, but if it goes higher, you'll need to extend it. Interesting, you locked the accumulative for the day. Worked out there. I'm not sure what you mean by extend it out, David. And hey, Lewis, I gave you Maria's phone number yesterday, so feel free to give her a call. Let's see, David. Okay, so that's the question there that you were asking earlier. Why do you have a cumulative profile for this day only? This isn't this day only, David. The cumulative goes back. This isn't just today. This is just today. So as this is going on, what it's not doing is it's not taking pre-market into consideration because I'm in chart replay. But this is the cumulative volume based on numerous days, this black outline. This is just today. This is just today over here as well on the order flow. Oh, okay. So I guess I didn't understand your question. Why do you have a cumulative profile for this day only? Let's see, Lewis is saying, are you doing composites like they do on Sierra? And I'm not sure what that question's about. All right, so let's see what happens here at the POC area here. So we're just hanging here. Is it going to go lower? Now, realistically, this can find its way down to the edge of the fair value area again, or it can bounce and retrace back up to this area, and then this area, and then this area. So then we just have to see. Like I said, I'm not a fan of taking the break of the point of control because a lot of times we can get stuck there, and you can see all the cumulative volume there from previous times in this area. And so there's unfinished business. So we're getting close to that low value area. So a break of the POC here looks like it would have worked out okay. So if this is going to go down to the low value area here, you want to see sellers coming in. And here you can see on this bar here, we didn't really get them stepping up in this area. So that might be, a good cause to, tighten your stop up. You didn't get the sellers coming in this area last time here. So we do have negative delta, but we got positive on the more aggressive coming in, and this negative is getting bigger. Like it's not, it's getting smaller. It's now going to turn, maybe positive. You can see it's very small and it's getting smaller. So if this bounces, then we're going to probably get stuck in this volume area here. So likely going to retest that point of control back up into this volume area here. And then if it bounces, then we'll likely hit the 48 and then back up here again to the 51. If it breaks this area right here, like in looking at this, what goes through my mind is, if it breaks this area here where we've got this high volume area, then you can see we don't have a lot going on in this last 5-minute bar, but over here we do. So it might pop up to this area here at like 50, 51, and then the next test would be the next high volume area here. Now, if this were at the low value area here, like if it came down and hit this low value area, I would take that as a buy on Divergence. But I wasn't at a support area, so I'm not willing to just take a bounce on Divergence. I want to be bouncing off support or pulling back off resistance. All right, so I'm going to just let this play out. I'm going to unmute you, Maria, and then we'll see if we have any questions for that anybody wants to ask, and you can use the mic. So let's see what we got here. Let's just both not talk at the same time. Let's see. You can put as many profiles as you like on your chart, Lewis.
That's not what he's asking, though, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well, probably best to just give her a call then, Lewis. George is asking, what's the impact of unfinished business?
I answered.
Oh, okay. Yep, you did. Sorry. This is Maria, everybody.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody? Thanks for being here, by the way.
Lewis is saying, is that necessary?
Hi, darling.
Doesn't your software clearly show? Yeah, you can see where the buys and sells are coming in, but the reason why you want to know where the cumulative volume areas are is because it's just like looking at support and resistance.
Hi, Alex.
You're going to get stuck there.
You're welcome, George.
So wherever you've got the high volume areas, you're going to get stuck there. Whenever you get there, you're likely going to get stuck there and then pulled down to the next high volume area. It happens over and over and over again. Let's see. It looks like Maria answered just about all these questions. Who else has some questions?
Hi, Jim. George, I answered. Alex, you should, for sure.
And so right here where we're at, we're testing this.
Yeah, it's being recorded.
We're testing this high value area from yesterday again. So now what happens?
No, we're not. We're saying to Lewis, we're saying to go short at LVA and long at HVAs. You get stuck in high volume areas. I usually do 3 to 5.
So here, I'm just going to talk here for a second. So here, in looking at this high value area, I have to decide, am I going to try to buy that or leave it alone? If I buy it, maybe I find my way up here to the high value area. If I short it, we only have the point of control right here below. It's not in a great spot, to be honest with you. But you can see here, looking at the order flow right now, we don't have the buyers coming in this area. So you'd be better off to try the short if you were going to try anything. You want to see buyers coming in if you're looking to take a break out. You want to see sellers coming in if you're going to take a break down. If you're going to anticipate this rolling over up here at the high value area, you don't want to see buyers come in. You want to see sellers come in. And so I can, for myself, I say easily see that by looking at the histogram on the bar as it's forming.
I can clarify that. We actually took this trade today. We sold it at 47, and the reason being, and I rushed it. It was an aggressive entry. But see this at 46 where you get an indentation of volume?
Now here, if we have sellers coming in here, this would be a short. If we get sellers coming in at this area, we can take a short. If we get buyers coming in, we can take a buy. Now for me, I'd want to see Divergence to take the buy. but you can see we've got sellers coming in. We've got negative delta. So now it's just a matter of where's it going to get to. So we look at this high volume area over here. Let me just scroll this over. So this is where we're stuck. If it can get through this area right here at 39, it's going to be stuck down here to 37, then down here to the point of control from yesterday. So we're looking for sellers, 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 sellers. And here we still have some unfinished business over here at this area here. So likely this is probably going to come down and finish that up, probably. We'll see.
Trisha, we actually sold it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we sold it at 47 because of this indent. And I jumped it because of this gap here. You know how I like these gap things?
Mm-hmm.
The gap in volume. That's where that's what I called short there today.
At the time today, if I recall, this happened really fast.
It happened really fast.
Yeah, so I don't think we got that. I don't think I got that at 10.
We got it.
But you can take the breakdown here. Like here off of here, this happened too fast for most people, but down here on the break of the LVA here, that would definitely be a nice entry with the sellers coming in. Now,
there it goes, back to yesterday's POC. Beautiful.
And so now
green dots are yesterday's point of control, and price often likes to go and retest those areas.
So now what we're looking for is we're looking for more sellers to come in and come down here to the low value area. So that's what we're hoping for here. We'll have to see how it all plays out here. Excuse me. So here we got some buyers coming in. So we want to see the sellers coming in under here. So we might get a little consolidation or retracement here, but we want to see sellers, not buyers coming in. And if it should happen to bounce here, then it would likely be pulled back up to this point of control from yesterday and then back up to the low value area. And you can see on this bar here, this bar is still forming, but there's not a whole lot going on in this area here from 35 up to 39 on this bar. So it could go either way from here. And here comes some sellers. Let's see. And Ray's saying system really works. I hit it out of the park today on the NQ. Awesome, Ray. And Jim, based on order flow, whether you're getting buyers or sellers coming in, that's going to determine whether you're going to try to short the low value area here, or buy here, or sell. Like we could do any of those. We could buy these areas, sell these areas, buy this area, sell this area, and it all comes down to who's in control, the buyers or sellers. And sometimes it's hard to tell right at the moment, so you can always wait for a retrace. So here, you know, you could take the break of the point of control here, but here you don't really have a bunch of sellers stepping up. So if you're not sure, you can wait to see if it retraces back up to that low value area here. And then if it holds and you get sellers stepping in, then you can look to take a sell. Or if you get buyers coming in, then you can look to take the short.
Long.
Oh, yes, sir. It's a long day.
Yeah, I hear you.
So here you could see them coming in again. So I did chart replay because I thought it would be a little easier to see it happening as close to real time as you can. Obviously, it's not real time, but it's as close as you can get rather than looking at a static chart. So I've been using Maria's tools for about a year. I guess a year and a half. What's the August, September, October?
About a year.
14 months, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased with them. That's why I do the webinars. She hates to do them. I don't mind them. She is going to offer a special for anybody who's interested and doesn't have the tools. These are what come with the software package. It's the Divergence Delta, Market Profile Plus, Order Flow Chart, Price Action, and the VWAP. And I forgot the V there. VWAP Market Profile. And then she gives a bunch of bonuses worth like $1,500. Let me show you one thing here. The order flow tools come with 6 months free training in Maria's training room. and it's open from Monday to Friday, 4 a.m. to 11:30. So you get 6 months of training. If you order by Friday, she's going to give you 200 off, and the bonuses. And the training room is almost filled to capacity, and so once it's full, then she still has to start a waiting list, because she has limited space there, because keep in mind she's trying to train people. So she does have a limited number of people that she allows in there so everybody can get her undivided attention as best she can give while she's trading. If she's in the middle of a trade, she might not, because she trades really fast. Like I said, she's really aggressive. So you might not know what she did until after when you ask her, but she's always willing to show you again. And, because let's face it, we're trading to make a living. So she doesn't make her living trading, selling the tools, but she couldn't find anything that she liked out there. So she had a programmer develop this for her, and it's definitely superior compared to what I've seen out there. So if you want to send her an email, it's tradetheeminis@gmail.com. Ask her any questions. Her website.
Mark, no, they're not compatible with Sierra.
Yeah, this is
They're
just Ninja. Now
Ninja.
here's what I do, Mark. I use
Thanks, George.
Sierra, but I run Ninja at the same time, just the demo of Ninja, because my account is through Infinity, and I don't have Ninja through them. I have Sierra, and I prefer Sierra, but unfortunately, these tools aren't available for Sierra.
Sierra.
They have some free versions. They're not great because they filter out the data, so you're not getting all the information.
You're not getting raw data.
Yeah, so
It's a problem.
yeah, and a lot of times people in the room, because I do have my order flow up in my room on the NQ, and a lot of times people will ask, well, why doesn't theirs match mine? Because they're using the free version of what Sierra offers, and it's because they're not getting all the information. But here's what I wanted to show you. This is pretty neat. This is on, and it's kind of stuck there because this is going through the replay as well. This is Crude, and
Crude at the pit close had a huge move.
these are what she calls the chubby bars, and I am not using them, but I know a lot of people are. But they're getting fatter. Like when price is moving higher, if it's getting fatter, then you've got more buyers coming in. If it's getting smaller, then you're obviously the buyers are diminishing. Here you can see it hits that low value area, or excuse me, high value area here, and they're not really fat. And today was inventory day, so crude is always a challenge on inventory day. But you can see as you're getting more buyers or more sellers coming in, the bars are getting chubby. And what else she has here is these X bars, and these are freaky. Now I'm really good at picking my support and resistance areas, so I don't really need these, but it's funny to see them fall right in line with areas that I watch. But you'll see these X levels hit and hold repeatedly. They're pointing out support and resistance for you based on some higher time frame. It's doing the work for you. And like I said, it's really freaky to watch
1 second.
how they hold. I don't have them all on here, so I'm sorry. I should have been prepared better here with a better example here. Well, here, all right, here. What day is this? This is, I think, yesterday, day before. Comes up to that, and hopefully you can see that because it's a really skinny blue line, but it comes up there as resistance and hold. Comes up there again at resistance and holds. Holds, holds, finally breaks through, comes down, trades all around it again. And so a lot of people are using those as their target areas, and a lot of people have issue finding their own support resistance areas. So that would definitely be helpful to anybody who does have an issue. Okay, so what else here? Let's see what that's still going there. Yep. So let me just show you here at support. I missed pointing it out because I was busy yapping, but here at support at the low value area here, where it's coming outside of the blue area. So if you have sellers coming in, you could go ahead and short that. That was like at what, like 30 area, which is down here. So you can see we don't really have the sellers coming in. So you wouldn't have tried to likely short that. Now, this again would be one of my drooling type of situations that I would like to see, because I've got divergence here. to the upside. So I would be looking to buy that off that divergence. Now, obviously, I don't know where it's going to get to, but if I was looking at that, I would think, okay, this is probably a good chance that this is going to retrace back up to that low value area here. So that's what I would be looking for on a buy here. I'd want to see the buyers coming in, which we had. We didn't have the sellers. So if you were looking to take the break of the low value area here, you want to see the sellers piling in, not the buyers. Like this, you could see just by looking at this histogram.
And the color on the bottom, it gets weaker.
Right here on the delta, which I know might be a little hard for you. So here you got buyers, is positive delta of 148, here positive 13. So you want to see that getting bigger in size as you're taking your buy. As you're getting close to this low value area here, this would be the area where, you know, like I said, you'd expect that it might hold. And this is yesterday's point of control. So let's just say, and I have no idea what's going to happen here, but let's just say that it was able to break through this area here and here. This is the same. See this orangey line here? This is the same as this orange line in this yellow area. So if this were to break through that with a lot of buyers coming in, you can see in looking at this 5-minute bar over here that you really don't have any real difference between buyers or sellers here. But right here is where you get this little volume cluster. So if it can move higher through this area, you'd expect it to be pulled back up to that. And then if you can get through that, then you'd be looking at the point of control here and then back up here to this last high volume area. If it moves lower, now, you know, this isn't showing pre-market stuff because this isn't chart replay, but if it trades up to this low value area and rolls over and you get sellers coming in, then you could short that as basically a pullback entry. Okay, you guys, well, I guess that's it, unless anybody has any more questions. Last call, and like I said, this is being recorded.
Ray did 112 points on the NQ today. It's better than me. And I'll tell everybody, the room totals today on one contract were $4,712.50. That was London and New York only, and then I took an additional 61 ticks off the Russell when I was running errands.
Now, keep in mind, you guys, Maria is very aggressive.
I'm a real aggressive trader.
And so I don't want anybody to be misled into thinking that
Mine is, right?
if you go into Maria's room, you're going to make $4,000. That's not going to happen. I can guarantee you that you're not going to trade like Maria. But once you learn how to use these tools, you can do it on your own at a less aggressive, or if you want to be aggressive, that's fine. But I can tell you right now, Maria doesn't wait very much for confirmation like I would wait. Like, let's say it's breaking here. She's not even thinking about it. She's just putting a sell order in. If the negative delta, she's taking it. If it doesn't go, okay, then, you know, she'll take her stop out and then she'll do it again and she'll do it again and she'll do it again. As long as her delta is telling her it's okay, she'll do it. Where I'm not as aggressive, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't fit my style. I'm happy with, you know, how I trade, and she's happy how she trades. And even if we were all doing the exact same thing based on what she's talking about in her training room, we're not going to get the same results. We're not all going to trade the same, no matter what.
No.
I don't care.
People have ATM strategies in there. They get out. It continues to go. People say, okay, I made my money. They leave. People won't re-enter because they're afraid. So, however, you can make, applying these methods, you can do fairly well. It is my belief that you can do fairly well.
And if you don't like just trading the value areas because sometimes, you know, they hold and, you know, bounce off of there, then you can implement it with, you know, whatever setups you like to trade, or you can wait for the retest. And if you don't get the retest, then you'll find another way in. So like, you know, most of the time you're getting a retest. So like, let's say here, you're thinking, you know, I want to short or I want to buy. And then in the meantime, you see divergence to the upside. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy. So, you know, waiting here, it didn't hurt at all. And you got your bounce. So that would be me. Okay, you guys, well, let me just stop this recording and then.
Okay, Ruby.